Apocalypse is one of my favourite comic characters, so I was ecstatic when Hasbro announced him as a BAF. Naturally, since I don't like grimacing heads, I didn't like it, but the rest of the body was pretty perfect. Luckily, I've had plans to make a custom Apocalypse figure for years now, so I just happened to have a shrunk down Toy Biz Apocalypse head on hand. This head has an absolutely perfect sculpt, and I'd even say it's one of Toy Biz's finest heads. Before I could use it though, I had to do some modifications to it. I filled it with hot glue, because hot glue when dried still has some give to it, which is useful when removing heads. After that, I sculpted the back of his head. Let's get on to painting! Okay, so before we start with the face, I'm going to do a little bit of bodywork. I find Apocalypse to be a little bit too dark. It's mainly this really dark metallic blue and black. And I think it would bring out some more... I don't know, I just think it would look better if there were some more silver. So I have some Runefang steel from Games Workshop. And I'm gonna paint this area, these panels right here, and the boots. The little pad thingies. Also, before you paint, you need to prep the area. So I bathed the entire figure in warm, soapy water, and then gave it a good scrub, and then after that I gave it like a light sanding. So the paint has something to grip onto. This is actually a separate piece. I probably shouldn't paint this while it's attached, but eh. Then afterwards we'll do a second layer. It doesn't really matter if the metal isn't all that clean. It's probably hard to see, but it's actually brightened up this entire area quite a bit. Also, if I do screw up, black isn't exactly the hardest paint to clean up, so should be fine. That also goes for, in case I don't like it, I can just repaint it black. Still, however, not exactly the most comfortable painting position. So this seems a lot harder than it actually is. Like, by the end of it, I'm aiming to have these parts like a quite distinct, like solid silver, instead of this sort of worn metal look it currently has. That's a really good tip for when you're painting metal in general, by the way. Base coat everything in black, and then use some Runefang steel or whatever silver paint you've got, and just sort of dry brush it on. That's what I do when I paint Transformers. I've gotten some paint in between the panel lines, but I'll just go in there with a tiny brush with some black a bit later on. Not much of a difference you can see. Yeah, you can see a little bit of difference. Like I said, I will eventually make the silver a bit stronger. Just slow and steady wins the race in this case. It already looks slightly metallic in the camera because of the super glossy plastic they're using, but I can assure you it's pretty black. In hindsight, I probably could have sanded away these mold lines, or whatever they are. I don't think they're intentional, at least. Or maybe they are. I don't know. But they don't really bother me too much. We can go in a little bit on the neck piece. Really brighten it up. Maybe these two? Yeah, I think I'll do it. Like a splotch of silver in there. Okay, let's see, what else? Probably go down and do some more on the legs again. Okay, that looks pretty good. It looks a little bit too dark around this area though. I should probably leave it. I think I'll let this dry for now and then I'll go back to it. Okay, so in true Hasbro fashion, I'm not gonna go too crazy with the whole shading and stuff. I thought since it's molded in already a pretty nice light grey, I'm gonna keep this as the main skin color. And I'll just paint up the rest, and we'll see how that looks. The thing is, I absolutely detest painting on camera, but I really enjoy looking back at it in hindsight. So hopefully I don't mess up too much, and this will be a relatively painless procedure. So obviously this is just the first layer. The paint is a little bit too thick, so I'm gonna dip the brush in some water and just dilute it a little bit. Also, as you can tell, I removed the what's it called, the neck piece, just so I have easier access. Maybe I should have used something else to have the head on, but oh well, seems to work pretty fine. And like I said, this is our first coat. It's a very, very diluted black, as you can see. Really bad coverage. But that is fine. Because the more diluted the paint is, the less the risk of getting brush strokes. And my OCD absolutely despises brush strokes. Actually, what I could have done was just mask like the majority of the head off and just spray paint the black, but oh well. Little bit of stray paint, but that's fine, I'll clean it up. Just use a toothpick and scrape off the paint before I seal it. I'll probably do the like very ends of the edges, like on the underside, off camera, just because it was saving me a whole lot of trouble. In case I have one of you insane customers is watching and you're criticizing everything I do, I can honestly say I don't have any idea what I'm doing for the most part. I just sort of wing it. But I try. Also, like I said, I find it really difficult to do this whole painting live thing. Okay, so let's have that dry. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna clean up the edges. You see this toothpick right here? The toothpick is actually ideal for scraping off stray paint, because it's not sharp enough to leave any marks in the sculpt, but it's still rigid enough to be able to, you know, rub dried paint off. There we go. Okay, I've done the most of the cleaning up of the black, so now let's do the blue for the lips. Oh, you see, it's starting to look really good. I'm gonna stop there for now, just so I can get some detail work in. So in the end, I ended up working a little bit more on the legs, and I also ended up shading the head just a little bit. Nothing too overwhelming or anything, but just bringing out the wrinkles a little bit more. I'm actually really satisfied with him now, so I hope you like the video.
I am as far beyond mutants as they are beyond you. The past is away. Together we shall forge a new one in fire and blood. From the ashes of this world, I will build a better one. Go forth, my horsemen. Annoying insects. I cannot be touched. I cannot be harmed. Watch me and tremble. For I bring the purity of oblivion to your world. Do what you will, for I fear no one.